So today we're going to be making lentil dal, and if I'm going to be honest, there's no real extensive backstory to this dish. All it really was one day I was scrolling through Instagram, found this recipe and thought, that looks tasty. That looks tasty. We're going to be taking that recipe and making an incredibly delicious lentil dip, as well as making a bit of garlic naan along the way. But with all of that said, I think it's about time for us to get to this. We're starting off today's recipe with lentils, which if you've never cooked with lentils before, just know they're about as easy as rice is. In fact, instead of doing an overnight soak or stovetop boil, we're going to start by washing thoroughly in a strainer, dropping into a bowl, and adding a 2-to-1 ratio of water before plopping it right down into the rice cooker. And if you don't have a rice cooker with a lentil button, just hit the brown rice button. Next up is the garlic naan, which we've made before on the channel. Check out the video up top, appearing now. It's a pretty straightforward process though. Proof the dough, roll it real thin, but not too thin so as to break when stretched, and toss onto a high heat pan to brown both sides. A quick tip is to wipe the flour out with a paper towel between pieces. Fire alarms love it when you leave behind the flour to burn. Spin your shallot clockwise, chop both ends, spin back, and chop in half before rough chopping into a lazy dice. For this recipe, we're going to be going with 1 gray shallot and 1 small yellow onion rough chopped. Over on the stovetop, we've got our Dutch oven out and set to a medium-high heat. Drop in your onions and shallots and let them sizzle away. After about 5 minutes or so have passed, drop in 1 tablespoon of butter along with 1 tablespoon of garlic mince and 1 tablespoon of ginger paste. After that, you'll let things continue to sizzle away and create delicious smells inside of your kitchen. Once everything is translucent, you'll spice up your onion shallot mix with 2 teaspoons of garam masala and 1 teaspoon of chili powder. Mix to let all those flavors get to know one another and bring on over your cooked lentils. They're going to look a little dull in color and be incredibly thick at this point, but that's completely normal. They've got a whole lot of simmering before they're ready. We're really just looking to cook the hell out of these lentils before they turn into our nice dip. To simmer these, you'll add in about 2 to 3 cups of water depending on how thick your lentils are at the moment. And now that they're back up to a liquid consistency, bring the heat back up and drop in about 1 to 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. Once simmered for about 10 minutes, you'll toss in half of a fire-roasted red pepper sliced into bits. And here is where you can get really creative. Cook by taste and layer in any flavors you want. I noticed that my dal was a little bit underwhelming, so I added a pinch more of garam masala and chili powder. Following that, we're gonna start adding in fat to up the creaminess of the dip. 3 tablespoons of butter ought to be good. Next, how about 2 teaspoons of dried cilantro? And because we added all the fat, we can complement it with the zest and juice of 1 lemon, making sure to squeeze the lemon over your hand to catch any runaway seeds. Let this simmer for an additional 5 minutes to let the flavors get to know each other. Finally, add in 1/3 of a cup of sour cream. It may sound like a lot, but keep in mind that this is enough dal for at least 8 servings. Lastly, no recipe of mine would be complete without a healthy dose of black pepper. Now, if everything is to your tasting, cut the heat and begin plating. I personally found that this dip works best when served on a shallow plate so that you can pinch and grab as you go with the naan. And to be honest, I went with garlic naan this time around because I'm always looking for an excuse to make it. But you could easily go with basmati rice. Today's meal is a great lesson in learning how to layer flavors because the lentils are incredibly forgiving and easy to adjust on the fly. This dip is currently a vegetarian main dish all by itself, but for the carnivores out there, you could easily add in a bit of grilled chicken. But for me, I like to let the lentils do the talking. And that's about it for this video. As you can see, this recipe is at the core of what Empty Pantry Entrees is. Make sure to subscribe if you're looking for more budget-friendly meals that'll also help you learn a trick or two in the kitchen along the way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.